All right, so this is Tim. He came to my yoga classes several times and began taking some vision lessons. And we're working with myopia and pigmentary glaucoma. And today is lesson 3. We just went outside and did our sun plate. And now we're going to get into shifting, flexing, and fusing. So the way that the lessons are structured are that we always like to start with the warm-ups to help loosen your eyes up and get ready for reading the charts in the distance. And so today we're going to learn 3 of the warm-ups in addition to the sunning that just help you, get ready for this chart work. And so the first one is about shifting, and we use the picket fence shifter. And so, have you ever, as a child, or know of anybody who ever walked along the fence with a stick or something and made that noise yeah. So it helps to sort of imagine that and maybe even imagine that you've got a stick extending from your nose, because what I'm going to be doing is moving the board side to side, and you're going to be moving your head in the opposite direction. And sometimes people like to just imagine sort of, that image of dragging the stick along the fence. But if you'll notice, there are 3 white spaces on the board, one up top, one in the middle, and one in the bottom. The idea is that it takes no effort to focus on a plain white background. Only when you try to focus on the black ink on top of the white background can strain or effort come about. So what you're going to be doing is just focus. You're going to be sliding through these white spaces. And when you get to the end, you don't want to just stop there. You want to let your nose and your eyes slide off the edge of the board and just land on a random point, off the edge, and then come back through and slide back through. So you'll feel when we start doing this that this gets your eyes shifting a lot more, and it helps break the habit of staring, and it just helps loosen up your eye muscles. So we'll just go ahead and try it out. And so we'll start here in the middle white space. So I'll start up close,
okay,
and I'll just pivot side to side.
So I'll be moving too.
Yep. And we can determine a comfortable pace together. So if you want me to speed up or slow down, just let me know. But I'll just kind of try and match the movement that you set with your head.
Okay. I should be looking to a point in the distance when I go off.
Yeah, so when you just slide off, you don't want to stare at the end, you just want to slide off the edge. That looks good. And the picket fence shifter is also used as a mental drill, because you're going to remember what you see with your eyes open. And you're going to close your eyes, continue pivoting, and you're going to remember, sort of picture mentally, the board moving in the opposite direction. So go ahead and close both eyes and imagine the pickets passing by in the opposite direction that your head is moving. And you're going to inhale and exhale, open back up into a white space. You can try a different white space if you'd like.
Like the bottom one.
Yeah, the different sized pickets produce different size shifts. Close and remember that white space. So moving side to side like this helps loosen up the lateral and medial rectus muscles. We can also move vertically. So moving up and down, you move in the opposite direction of the board, sliding through a white space. And once again, you're just going to let your eyes float off the edge and land on the floor and the ceiling. Perfect. So this is helping to loosen the inferior and superior rectus muscles. And it just gets the eyes shifting in a different direction. So you can close and remember the up and down movement, picturing the board perfectly clear, moving in the opposite direction. Inhale. And open on the exhale. And we can also do diagonal as well. Perfect. You can close and remember this movement, diagonal movement, sliding through the white space. Maybe even picturing your nose extending and touching the board and making that noise. Inhale. Exhale, open up. And then we'll do the opposite diagonal. Just sliding through the white space. Nice. The diagonal ones can be kind of tricky.
Yeah. I'm actually noticing more activity in my eyes doing the diagonal.
Yeah, well, the diagonal ones more address the two oblique muscles.
Okay.
And so a lot of times in nearsightedness, those are the ones where that may be a little more loosening. So you can close and remember this direction and distance. Just let the pickets pass by in the opposite direction. Just allow the movement. Inhale. Exhale, and back up. Nice. So another way that this can be used as well is it can eventually we can use it to start to stretch the vision out as well, because I can start up here and then eventually we can be doing the shifting further and further out. But if you watch my eyes, just so you can see what it looks like when the eyes are, what I mean by shifting. So these little pickets kind of like break it up a little bit and they just start moving more rapidly. And
I was noticing your head more than your eyes. I've noticed some nuance.
It's pretty subtle. They look sort of like jiggly almost.
Oh, okay.
And your eyes were doing it, when you were doing it. So you may not be able to feel it at first, but the more you practice it, the more you may be able to start to notice the subtle movements. And this is something that you can do on your own mentally, just when you had your eyes closed, just remembering the pickets. So in between lessons you can always just close your eyes and do that a few times and imagine. Or if you're walking around by somebody's house who has a picket fence, you can always just use that to just kind of like go through and shift your eyes a bit.
Yeah.
It's good.
Set up a lawn chair in front of their house.
Yeah. And I've also got this type of shifter, which you can actually hold And you do the same thing, you move the board in the opposite direction. And for this one, you just kind of look through the holes. And you should be able to see that that kind of helps break things up a bit. So it's a little bit different, but it accomplishes sort of the same thing.
It's like pinhole process.
Yeah.
Takes some coordination.
It does, yeah. The hand-mind coordination. So we can, go back and forth between the white and the black pickets. So that's what is referred to by shifting. Just getting the eyes to physically start shifting more, and that'll help just really loosen up the eye muscles. In complement with the shifting, we also want to get the eyes flexing. If I can find my paddle flexor. Here it is. So the paddle flexor gets the eyes shifting more and moving more. The paddle flexor gets the lens flexing more. So as opposed to side movements, we're going to be doing in and out, back and forth movements. And what that does is it actually flexes the muscle or the lens when it comes into focus, and then thins the lens when you go out. And same thing with the picket fence shifter. We're going to do it with eyes open and eyes closed. So it's also a mental drill working with memory and imagination. And we do this one eye at a time, so you can either use your palm or the occluder or an eye patch. So what would you prefer?
I'm okay with palm.
Okay. So, and I'll get my pointer too. So which eye would you like to flex first?
Right.
Alright. So not only are you going to watch the paddle come in and out, but you're also going to say larger when it comes in and smaller when it goes out, because it appears that the circles grow and shrink. So larger, smaller, larger, smaller. And just let your eyes, shift around the white space. Same thing with the shifter. It doesn't take any effort to focus on a white background.
Larger, smaller, larger, smaller, larger, smaller.
So now go ahead and close and remember larger, smaller, larger, smaller, larger, smaller. Inhale. Exhale, open up. Larger, smaller, larger, smaller, larger, smaller, larger, smaller. And then following my pointer, we're going to nose draw each circle and count out loud. So 1, 2.
Should I be moving my head with my nose?
Yeah. So following the pointer, you can nose draw each one. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Larger, smaller, larger, smaller, larger, smaller, larger, smaller, larger, smaller. Close and remember once more. Larger, smaller, larger, smaller, larger, smaller. Inhale. Actually, before you open, keep your eyes closed and remember, just mentally nose draw one tiny black circle and fill in the white center with bright white. And then keep that image in your mind as you inhale and exhale, open back up and nose draw one dot out here. fill in the white center.
With my eyes open.
Yeah. So that's just practicing nose drawing a perfectly clear circle with your eyes closed, and then opening and nose drawing, you know, doing the same thing with your eyes open out here, because you know, this is designed to flex the lens, but once again, we can also use this to stretch the vision out slowly. We can make our way further and further back and just work on nose drawing the circles and counting them and working on clearing up the paddle.
Okay.
So let's do your other eye. So same thing, just watching the paddle come in and out, jumping around the white spaces, the white centers. Larger, smaller, larger, smaller.
So the white space is the circle centers, not the surrounding white.
You can be around anywhere in the white spaces, or you can be inside.
Okay.
Larger, smaller,
Larger,
smaller,
larger,
smaller,
larger,
smaller,
larger, smaller, larger, smaller,
close and
larger, smaller, larger,
smaller,
larger,
smaller. Inhale. Exhale.
larger,
Smaller,
larger,
smaller,
larger,
smaller.
larger, smaller.
It's a nose draw and count out here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Larger,
Smaller,
larger, smaller, larger, smaller, larger, smaller, larger, smaller, larger, smaller.
close and remember once more. Imagining perfectly clear black circles, bright white centers, getting larger and smaller.
Larger, smaller, larger, smaller, larger, smaller, larger, smaller,
Larger, smaller. And then nose draw mentally one perfect little black circle. Fill in the white center. Keep that image as you inhale. Exhale, open up and nose draw one with your eyes open. And then we can do both eyes together. And with both eyes, we always want to use our gate posts. So if you hold your occluder like that, you're going to hold it in front of your nose skinny ways. And when you look out of the paddle, you should see two occluders. Those are called your gate posts.
Two occluders being, two of these, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And so, how do the circles look? Can you see the white centers? Like, let's just map out this area to see where things change.
Oh, I see what you're saying, like, it looks like black centers at one point. Like there it looks black in the center.
So there's any white left?
Oh, I can see a little bit of white now.
And then closer.
Then it turned, yeah, a little bit further out of the
Yeah.
white centers reemerge.
Can you see the white centers out here?
Very fuzzy. Just kind of a mix of black and white there.
Uh-huh.
This is in white centers.
circles look up here.
Clear.
So I'm going to slowly move back and just tell me when they lose clarity.
Starting to get blurry, but okay. Still see white centers. Still see them. Now they're starting to get blurry there.
Okay.
Almost looks like the black is filling in, and then they've got
Mhm.
like a white donut, like a black center, and
So like black, white, black.
black, white, black. Yeah.
So the paddle flexor is also good for sort of mapping out your range to start, and sort of like finding different edges, and then seeing if if those change over time, if we move them back or push, stretch them out. So
Yeah, I like this one.
so we'll just do a little bit of flexing with both thighs, larger, smaller, larger, smaller,
Larger,
smaller.
larger.
And with your gate post, you'll notice that when it comes in, your gate posts will move. And when it goes out, so the gate posts get closer together and further apart. Small. Let's go ahead and close and remember larger, small, larger, small, larger, small, larger, small. Take a breath in. Exhale, open back up. Larger, smaller, larger, smaller, larger, smaller, larger, smaller. Once the nose draw and count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Larger, smaller, larger, smaller, larger, smaller. Close and remember, smaller, larger, smaller, larger, smaller. Inhale. Exhale, open back up. Now, does this side any different?
In the pattern or the color?
Like is this easier to see or clearer, or do the centers stay longer?
I'd say it's harder.
Harder?
Yeah. Where the centers change.
Yeah.
There.
Right here.
Now they're black. There they're black. Now they're white. Don't tell you where they change.
Yeah.
They're black. It's still black. Black.
So here, close and imagine a little black circle with a full bright white center with no black in the middle. And maybe even picture bright white around the black circle too. So the bright white is behind and around and in the middle, illuminating brightly. And keep that in your mind as you inhale and exhale back up, open.
Still black there.
And repeat that except with your eyes open. So instead of mentally, so keep your eyes open and just nose draw. Imagine you're filling in the center with white and trace the outline with white. So it's like a brighter white than the whole rest of the paddle. Brilliant white. So this is sort of a first introduction of one of the techniques that we can use when we get into the chart work is using mental images and also, nose drawing with your eyes open to help clear things up or change the way things look. So, but the primary purpose of this is the flexing of the eyes and getting the convergence and divergence. So, and we've got the paddle, but I've also got several other things that we can use to flex the eyes, and it's something you can do on your own, even just like with your thumb. I think we've done in the yoga class where you just, but you can add in that piece about larger, smaller, because that can become very important because it's like a depth perception cue that we learned pretty early on in life, and so it can be really good to sort of revisit some of the very basic building blocks of vision, like that let us know that it's not really growing and shrinking, but we're perceiving that. So it can just help to be a little more conscious about some of the subconscious processes that we use. So we did our shifting and our flexing, and the third one is fusing. So fusion is your ability to both of your eyes to be able to look at the same point at the same time, the same rate. And one of the best ways that we can practice fusion and achieve fusion is with something called rope fusion. So I can take your occluder.
We did this in yoga class at one point.
Yeah. So we jerry-rigged it with the wires. So this is the real deal.
Jump rope.
So you'll take this end here, and you're going to hold it right in front of your nose. And actually, you're going to hold it a little bit out in front of your nose because you're going to come all the way back down to your end, and you don't want it to be too close for you to be able to focus on. So first, I'm just going to shorten and extend the rope. So just start out at the end here and watch it come in. All the way back. And then watch it come out, extend. And once more. Go back out. Washer here. So I'm just going to move the washer up and down. So we're going to keep the rope extended, but you're going to just focus on the washer. One thing that you should notice is that when you look down here, you should see the letter V.
Oh, with the rope, you mean?
Yeah. So the rope has a couple different letters in it. When you get out here,
It's Y.
looks like an X.
Oh, beyond the washer. Oh, the whole thing.
Yeah, when you focus here, the rope
Yeah.
should split out this way and then towards you as well.
Yeah.
And then when you focus out towards the end, you should get an upside down V or an A.
Mm-hmm.
So just call out the letters as they appear.
Should I be looking at the washer as opposed to the whole thing, or?
Just follow my finger for
Okay.
now.
I'm sorry, keep going. I guess I was looking further in the distance. Okay. I don't know, I'm not getting the, I was getting it in the class, but, the yoga class, but.
The different letters?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm focusing on the wrong thing or.
Well, let's see, let me, so are you able to track up and down the rope
Yeah.
on your own?
Okay, yeah, that's helping now. As I track up and down the rope, you know, looking at you, I see the upside down V.
Mm-hmm.
As I come back, right about here, it's the X.
Uh-huh.
And then it's the V.
Great. So just as you go up and down, you can just say V, X, A, X, B as you.
Okay. Starting here, V, X, A. Actually, I'm kind of stuck on the X here. Okay, now A, X. V, X. A.
And with the A, you know, there's only so far you can go before the rope actually fuses into one.
Yeah.
So the top of the A is going to have like a long extension on it.
Yeah.
And that's normal.
Yeah, I think when you were doing the washer, I'm not sure where my eyes were going, but
Uh-huh.
I thought I was tracking you, but I wasn't getting the letters for some reason.
Hmm. Well, the reason you see the letters is it's a product of your peripheral vision.
Hmm.
Because when whatever point you look at on the rope, both of your eyes are fusing the two ropes into one point.
Mm-hmm.
But everywhere else along the rope appears to split into two.
Mm.
Like if you close one eye at a time and go up and down, you're only gonna get one rope.
Yeah.
But when you've got both eyes, then it's a whole different perception. But the rope is really good because it gives you something. It gives your eyes something to grasp onto
Mm-hmm.
the whole way between you and me.
Yeah.
And so it's just another good way to sort of map out to see where there may be an area that you find more challenging or your eyes might skip or jump over.
Mm-hmm. Want me to keep calling out or?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. I'm looking at you, so I see the A. X. V. X. A. X. When I'm seeing the X, at some point, one strand sort of disappears, or?
Yeah. That's usually when one eye dominates over the other.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's just another good way to tell, because the left rope is what your right eye sees, and the right rope is what your left eye sees.
That's the right rope that was disappearing more.
And so as we, practice this, you can work and see and maybe find out different ways to equalize them, or maybe even shift the dominance from one side to the other.
Yeah.
But, what's most important is that wherever you're looking, you see one rope.
I'm gonna keep calling the letters here.
Yeah, it usually just helps to verbalize it.
V, X, more curvy, I think, 'cause it's so long now.
Yeah, and
More
the
like a
X
straight.
the X begins pretty much immediately after you leave the V,
Yeah.
and then it goes out pretty far until it switches over to the A.
B, X, A, X, B, B. The X is one where one of the strands will be lost pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much on the A and the B.
Yeah.
Not sure why that would be. X, B, X, A, X, B, X,
Whenever you finish the rope, you always want to end out in the distance.
So I should wrap it up with the A.
Yeah, because it's good to end out, you know, sort of projecting outwards.
Okay.
So, did you find it easier to go in or to go out, or were they about the same?
I'd say about the same. This was a lot longer than the one we did in the yoga class.
Yeah.
I found that one easier because it was a shorter length, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'd say it was about the same. The
Yeah.
easiest part was the X.
Okay. Yeah, and your eyes looked like they were fusing pretty well, and just turning in and turning out together. So that's another great purpose of this, is getting your eyes to work together better,
Mm-hmm.
just team up together. And so this is one that you can also do on your own with one of these. So it's pretty much the same thing, except you just hold it out at arm's length, just right in front of your nose, and just going up and down just like you just were.
Should I leave the washer?
You can move the washer around if that helps. Like you can do it a few times with the washer in the V position, and then a few times with the washer in the X, and then a few times with the washer out in the distance. The washer can just help because it allows you to see, when you're looking at the washer, you see one washer, but then anywhere else on the rope, it looks like two washers.
Oh, I see, yeah.
And since that's a shorter rope, it may be easier for you to practice on your own.
Yeah, it is easy.
But I do have even longer ropes, 20-foot rope.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, that's once again just another way to help sort of stretch the vision out. And even if you don't have your rope or anything like that, you can just do it mentally. You can just close your eyes and picture tracking up and down a really long rope and just see those 3 different letters.
Okay. I think when we did the yoga class, it was a thinner strand.
Yeah, yeah.
And that seemed to make it easier for me.
Yeah, that could be the case as well. The thickness of the rope, and you can use whatever you want. You can use a shoelace or
Dental floss.
Yeah, that would be. I haven't tried that one yet.
Very long hair. Okay.
Great. So, do you have any questions about shifting or flexing or fusing?
I can't think of one at the moment.
Okay. Well, like I said, they're pretty much what we do at the beginning of each lesson. So, you know, in terms of things of you doing on your own, you know, we'll be doing them in each lesson. So for you, I'll just continue doing the long swing and your morning drills and your sunning.
Okay.
On your own, and then if you feel like playing around with the rope, you can do some rope fusion. Doing that for just a few minutes a day is really beneficial to get your eyes on track together.
Perfect.
But yeah, that's about it for our third lesson, and